Hello, good evening and welcome to the program. This is Daily Politics live on Trust TV, your go-to destination for everything politics, policy and governance. My name is Abdullahi Ahmed. Tonight on the program, we turn the spotlight on the deepening leadership crisis within Nigeria's main opposition party, the People's Democratic Party. Parallel Southeast stakeholders meetings held in Enugu and Abuja highlight the party's growing internal struggle for its secretaryship and a reflection of its long-standing leadership turmoil. Despite numerous NEC and NWC interventions, the crisis continues to persist, raising questions about the party's readiness to present a united front ahead of the next general elections. This also comes amid growing calls for a robust opposition to challenge the ruling All Progressives Congress, APC. Well, joining us tonight to unpack and navigate the issues is Otumba Segun Sowunmi. He is a former PDP governorship candidate in Ogun State and convener of the Alternative National Coalition of Opposition Movement. Otumba, as always, a pleasure having you on the program. Thank you so much for joining us. Good evening.
Nice to see you.
How are you? Good to see you again. Fine, thank you. You've been enjoying 2025 so far, obviously, with all the happenings across the country. But talk to me about PDP. How disappointed are you as a member that this particular issue continues to persist?
Which of the issues?
The myriads of issues. I mean, your party seems to be in quite the chaos.
Okay. Well, first of all, you notice that I have been pushing for a re-engagement of the political space with the electorate and the citizens under an alternative the platform called The Alternative. But suffice to say, I will offer some opinions on the PDP and what people complain about a lot. It is a settled matter that politics is about interest. And if it be a political party, people are going to jostle and struggle for interest. Yes, a democratic party at that may create more avenue for people to ventilate, quarrel, scheme, and even legalize whatever positions they have. You must learn to divide a political party into the segments that the nation is. National, zonal, state, local governments, and ward. What I see with our party, the PDP, is that we're okay at the grassroots level. There isn't much of a problem there. At the state levels, they've succeeded in doing almost all of their states, congresses by a few locations, which is expected. That's settled. I haven't heard much of a noise about their zonal structures in the northeast, in the northwest, not much in the north central, no real complaint in the south-south. Of course, no major complaint in the southwest. Of recent, a bit of a conversation around the southeast. And of course, the national. I've not heard much of a complaint beyond chairman, acting national chairman, some comments, secretary, but beneath that, publicity, organizing, all the other organs of the party, no major complaint.
Are you oversimplifying the problem?
No. You let me land. I wish that they will not have any of those problems, and that it will be kumbaya and everybody will agree and all that. But you must always remember, members of the fourth realm of the estate, do not imagine that a political party that is talking about NEC, talking about ESCO, talking about NWC is not a well-run party. When you can't hear other political parties in the country discussing anything that is remotely close to that. I feel, and I would prefer that everybody comes together quickly and settles the issues in-house in a family affair. But long and short, PDP is not a portmanteau or briefcase party. Neither is it a party where one man will just be bellowing his orders and not be challenged. But all the elections they've needed to do, even the seasoned elections, off-season ones, they have produced primaries. Their primaries have not been that contentious. They've had candidates. We are in courts in Edo. Clearly, the energy of the Edo people and ourselves believe we did well there. We'll have to wait and see what happens in court. We won in Bayelsa. It was an off-season one. We produced candidates. We contested in Kogi. We didn't do as well. We didn't do very well in Bayelsa and Imo. My point is that political parties and democracy itself is always constantly growing through a stage of evolution. And after you are angry with them for not always smiling at themselves and hugging themselves, you must then look at them and say, okay, really, what is the worst that can happen? And you will come to the conclusion that the worst that can happen is that, yes, some people lost out in 1999. Alex Ekweme, in whose sitting room this party was founded, lost out at the presidency in 1999. He didn't throw the party away. In 2003, there was rumor that, okay, the Matiku wanted to outsmart Obasanjo, whatever the facts are, the party survived. In 2011, there were issues of, we need a doctrine of necessity just to pass the baton between an incumbent vice president and the president. They survived. President Jonathan ran the election in 2011. He won. Some people even walked out of the point of the campaign. And in 2015, let me land. Yeah. Some people were so angry, they went to form a group with other people to go and form another party. PDP lost the election. We won some governorship. In 2019, we had a good outing. 2023 was not as good as we would have wanted. The point I'm making, media, stop screaming that PDP is destabilized to that extent that they will not make progress. They will make progress.
Some would say, Otumba, you're making light of a serious issue. A lot of people will put it bluntly.
Make it serious for me. And show me the other party that has anything that remotely comes close.
Yeah, but we're not talking about any other party.
Why is it always about PDP? Are you not even concerned that other parties are not even running democracy?
I mean, just last week we were talking about Labour Party on this particular platform.
And then what about the APC?
Yeah, but I'm talking.
And then what about NNPP? And then what about...
Yeah, but I don't think whataboutism is going to solve the problem. So let's focus on the PDP. A lot of people would put it bluntly to say you're facing what many would consider an existential crisis.
They should wait until after the election.
So give me the top 3 challenges in the PDP is dealing with right now and what would look like a solution.
I think people must learn to know that sometimes you win some, you lose some. If you are in a game where people scheme, and where everybody tries to protect his interest, and where when your interest is challenged, you don't have the discipline and the resilience of nature to say, okay, maybe I didn't get it this time. What about when I got it and others didn't get it? That kind of conversation will happen. But long story short, anybody that wants to decamp from the party is free to go. Some have gone before, it didn't amount to much. And those that will be left will sit down and look at the situation and give you the best. Yeah. At every point in time, what I want you to always understand is that the decision as to who is going to win an election doesn't rest with the party, doesn't even rest with the NWC, doesn't even rest with only the members of the party. It's always with the electorate and the people. And that's why, because they are not turning out, because the whole thing is becoming too transactional, because they're not happy with the way they're being governed, that's why I said, let's go back and re-engage the citizens. Let's have this conversation together, not from the point of view of I have solutions. Let's think together, okay, gentlemen and ladies, members of the Nigerian estate, where lies our problems? What can we do? Start listening to the other man so that we can close ranks and then rediscuss what is our civic responsibility in democracy. Is our civic responsibility in democracy to sit out, not join parties, not come out even though we have PVC, not vote, and then expect manna to fall from heaven? Right. So if you look at it from that angle, you will understand that I'm not making light of the noise that is coming from the stable of the PDP. But I would say, what I would really say is that we need to now begin to apply discipline. The organ part-time that is saturated with the responsibility of administering the party in an executive model is the empaneled National Working Committee. Yeah. And part of the powers that they have, even though they know what they're doing, is to be able to draw the line and say, this we will not accept, this we will not accept, this will not. Right. But I think, in fairness to them, or maybe notwithstanding how they think about it, they're trying the best they can not to wield the big hammer. Because people cannot wake up every morning and be demarketing the party and be complaining that the party is not doing well. If there's a case in court, bloody well, go to court and get it sorted. And until it's sorted, that's the status quo. If you take someone to court, shall the person not be entitled to defend himself? If you get a judgment against someone's position and there's an opportunity for the person to go to a higher court, Court of Appeal, Supreme Court, shall you not do that? Shall you be punching me and not expect me to punch back? And I don't want the media to misinterpret that certain elements are probably beginning to lose out from their own calculation. You know, politicians are funny. They calculate so much, they even assume the role of God. People who don't even know whether they'll be alive till next week are already calculating too much about 2027 when we have not even done 2 years in the democracy. So for me, before you guys that are my friends in the real estate join in ensuring that this democracy will collapse on top of our heads, or will create a narrative of, oh, they want to turn Nigeria into a one-party state without mirroring the clear light on the people that are even trying to do that, without going back to engage the citizens.
You're surely not saying that the media is a part of the problem.
No, I'm just saying that, you see, if you recall, the American election, a lot of issues were removed. The reason is that it's very easy for the media to run with a narrative that is being pushed without stepping back to ask the question that, why will this narrative even be the only narrative on the table?
Right.
Why would the PDP, there are 18 political parties in this country. You will hear us talk about NEC. You will hear us talk about POT. You will hear us talk about NWC. You will hear us talk about zonal. And then we're supposed to be the one that are dying. And the ones that are portmanteau parties, whom one person will be the owner of the party and the presidential candidate, the chairman, and those ones are not dying. Hi.
Yeah, but also, to be fair, right, it is quite obvious that your political currency or value or popularity has been waning over the past decade. I mean, you go back to the 2011 election, the numbers you got.
Relative to turnout.
Yeah, the numbers keep declining from what
in 2011, you know what we got, right?
Yeah, let me get to the question.
All right.
So the numbers you got in 2011 didn't match up to what you got in 2015. The numbers you got in 2015 were far less than what you got in 2019. What you got in 2019 is significantly less than what you got in 2023. Mm-hmm. This trend says a lot, because you did say, you know, it's down to the electorate to decide who they want to vote. It's not necessarily the party that, you know, decides for them. It does show that Nigerians are falling out in terms of interest when it comes to the PDP. The numbers show that. Okay,
does the number then show that Nigerians are in love with the APC?
Yeah, but we're talking about the PDP.
Listen, you can't discuss the political climate in Nigeria in isolation of just PDP.
No, I'm saying
my point
APC
is that
is in power.
Now, before they got into power, they've not even done 12 years. We did 16.
Yeah, but they always win against PDP.
Can you stop?
No, but that's the fact.
They came into the political whistle was blown in 1998. We won in 99. We won in 2003. We won in 2007. We won in 2011. We lost in 2015. They won. I can't even go, but let me just leave it at that. They won in 2019. We lost in 2023. How many times did we win back to back? How many times have they won? Under them, by winning only one person of baton, everybody in the country is already screaming and shouting. What makes you think they will win? They used to come, General Buhari used to come to the table with about 12 million votes, even when he was not winning. Or when, if you like, you can say it was being rigged. They couldn't even come with 9 million votes this last time. And the PDP that you want to castigate.
Not castigate.
Just hold on.
Yeah, just to correct. Not castigate.
Yeah, okay.
Ask questions about.
The PDP that you want to castigate has to deal with the fact that it's the university of political practice in multi-party democracy in this dispensation. That is the party that even gave you Peter Obi. Him alone was able to pull 6 million votes.
On the platform of the Labour
Party. Another party, yes. That is the party that gave you Kwankwaso. He was able to put 2 million votes. That's the party that gave you Atiku Abubakar. He was able to put 6-something million votes. Well, you may say that they are not PDP votes, but in your heart of heart, you know that they are truly PDP votes.
But they are not.
Okay, fine.
I mean, legally speaking, they are not PDP votes.
I know. Yeah. I'm the one who broke it down, so just stop getting into my mind. Those are the votes of people that are potentially graduates of the PDP school, even if you don't accept that they are our votes. Our rivals, on the other hand, are the APC. Among the votes that they are even parading that they have Rivers State they have our PDP former governor of Rivers State to thank for numbers there. And we had to deal with 5 other leaders, the G5 who left. The point I'm making to you is that I wish that the politicians would not have learned the worst habits from the so-called founding fathers. Because I've sat down to think about it deeply. How did we even become a political party? Or how did this democratic space become a place where people just jump anyhow and they don't have any shame? You'll have to go back to the 1999 class. They were the ones who jumped in 2007. They were the ones who jumped in 2011. They were the ones who jumped in 2015, yeah. And those of us that have been here since 1998, are we now going to accept that if they are angry now, then it will mean that the whole nation or the party is going to die? No, it won't. A political party, in my opinion, is not designed solely to be thinking that its duty and responsibility is to always win the next election. And I have screamed myself hollow, saying that PDP, after 3 back-to-back election losses, you need to go back to the drawing board and reform, really. Because, unfortunately for PDP, their ideological position, which is conservative, right of center, even the people that were calling themselves left of center have morphed so much that they've jumped into the center. Capitalization, free capitalism, free market, private public sector partners. These are right of center policies. Everybody has jumped there. Okay, we couldn't stop them. The world is morphing. So our duty is to sit back and create some differentiation so that people will know, okay, I'm going to vote PDP for this reason. Because this is their stand on education. This is their stand on health. This is their stand on free market. This is their you don't understand. If you don't do that, we will not be able to prevent a ruling party from getting the type of advantages we got between 1999 to 2015.
Talk to me about this stagnation or conundrum that the PDP is dealing with right now, right? Because, I mean, I started with a question. It does appear that you're stuck.
No, we're not.
Okay.
Look.
Agree to disagree, but how do you get out of this conundrum? Because you listen to the narratives. I mean, you talk about the media and what the media has been doing. I think the media has only been mirroring, or rather reporting, what political figures within the PDP have been saying. Case in point, the back and forth between significant figures like Governor Ahmed of Bauchi State, what's happening in River State, what's happening with the leadership. I mean, just 2 weeks ago, the whole national secretary position became a tug of war, isn't it? Talk to me about what a solution looks like, because that was a question earlier. This stagnation that has, you know, gotten hold of the party since 2023.
I get. So that I can quickly run into it. Look, I started by telling you that once you are practicing democracy at party level, people are going to try to position for their interest. If you are an open, slightly liberal, democratic space, the idea of how to pursue your interest may be different from that of your cameraman, may be different from mine. If the political space allows us the room to ventilate, and we have the capacity and the ability to go to court, do you know how long, just for a position between the 3 of us, we can spend in court? If they gave it to you, I'll go to court. If they gave it to him, he'll go to court. Then we'll go to the Court of Appeal. Then we'll go to the Supreme Court. Imagine if we could do that at every run of the ladder. Okay, it's not nice, but should we curtail their rights? Rights that have been granted them by the Constitution? Of course we can't do that. So the next best thing is to try to do a massive reorientation on how do you do power sharing within a political space. And I like to always say arrive as arrive because, you know, I wish that we could run into 2031 and let the Lord that keeps people alive, you can keep us alive. And then you will begin to appreciate what I was saying
Why
today.
2031?
Very good, because worst case scenario, the incumbent who has the right of first term, first refusal.
Worst case scenario for who?
Oh, listen, man, let me just finish. You're disturbing my thoughts. Worst case scenario for the country and the parties is that every president who has the right of first refusal may get tickets. So in his own party, there won't be too much of a contestation for tickets. That's been the culture here. But if he succeeds or he doesn't succeed, I don't know what will happen. It's all in the belly of time. Let us concede let us just say without considering, if he succeeds, there's no constitution that allows anybody to do a third term, right? So it therefore means that if they are president, our president, the president is not running election, you are going to see the kinds of quarrel that usually comes into play, which we are dealing with in PDP. It's not very, very easy to get people to behave when they think that their rights are being either trampled upon or they're losing out. Once you are setting up an NWC for a political party, I've always advocated, think properly. There's nothing like I'm going to put my stooge there. Because once the powers are conferred on the fellow, better to have a thinking, smart, brilliant person who understands the bigger picture than a fool who is going to be struggling to hold on to a seat when the totality of what he's trying to do is to get the party into trouble. But if the laws says that he has the powers to wield that authority, what shall you do? You might be smart enough to say, okay, let's just wait it out. The tenure will end, and let's start finding better people. You might find a way to call yourself, okay, look, guys, to save ourselves all this hassle, let's have a very early Congress. There's no law that says we cannot dissolve our Congress at any time and have a new one, so that all the cases that are in court will even become academic exercises, and we start on a fresh slate. You can do that. Or you can just say, well, the drivers are a little bit careless, or they are not expert drivers. Let's just leave quietly and go and do something else with your life, join another party and all that. Or let us continue to push them towards reformation in the belief that they will reform. But you cannot force people to abandon their rights within the law for you or for me.
Talk to me about how the optics look like. Nigerians are seeing this whole drama unfold.
Have you done a survey yet?
No, I'm talking about the optics.
Yeah, even the optics, you have to do the survey now.
No. I mean, these are easy things that you can
No, they're
deduce.
not as easy as that.
I mean, you look at the chaos, even on the front page of papers and what's been reported. Talk to me about how this looks.
Listen.
No, let's talk to me about what message the PDP is sending to Nigerians in the hopes that it will win the hearts and minds, but most importantly, their votes in 2027.
Okay, first of all, the largest viewing platform that Nigerians watch, the first is football. The second is drama, all these African magic, all these kind of things. The fourth is news. That will give you an idea of how little they're impacted. Newspapers, they don't read that much. People are bigger on the internet. And what the young people want are leaders that are honest, leaders that connect. If you ask me, without being cheeky, Peter Obi is the one that is even speaking the way you will expect someone who wants to be president should speak. He's out there every day. He's jumping here, jumping there. Okay, the language I've been begging him, I've been screaming on him, I've been shouting on him. Tame it down a little bit. Don't be making everybody miserable. Try and sweeten it a bit. Because if you make everybody depressed in the country because the language is just, oh, they want this, then more and more people will be running away from the space. You need to figure out a way to ensure that the conversation can be firm, the conversation can be intelligent, but the conversation can be progressive. You must bring hope more to the people than scare them with misery. But if we get to the 2027 election, I don't know what I'm going to do next. I'm not committing to what I may not believe in. But I'm saying that I know that they will have a candidate. There will be a candidate there. That was why I went to the off-season election. Some of these issues were on the table. They produced a fantastic candidate in Asue Godalo in Edo. If Edo people did not do what they needed to do to make Asue their governor, it's their loss. We gave them a fantastic candidate. Are we supposed to, what, at NWC go to the place and start shooting people so that those who are criminally corrupting the process will stop? And now you can see, like I told you, it's the reason why I created the platform, The Alternative, that we may go back to the citizens and re-engage ourselves. What is your civic responsibility as a Nigerian citizen relative to power selection, democracy, and voting? What do we need to do with this vote buying and vote selling? Will every vote on the day be accounted for because APC paid for some, PDP paid for some? Why? Would the people not understand that you can't have 96 million registered voters and you will all be feeling parallel and paralyzed and overwhelmed because somebody got 8-point-something million votes? It's not the way of thinkers. It's not the way of, ambitious people. It's not even the way of decent citizens. And the media is supposed to help us with that. You can't make 2027 look hopeless when their last number was just 8 million. Tomorrow morning, what happens if we just merge 2 of them together, find a pathway, you come and be governor, president, you come and be vice, and then everybody is ready?
Okay, so let's talk about that merger, because that is something that has been of quite a big of an interest.
Exactly, 8.7,
yeah.
6.9, 6.1, exactly.
Feeling nostalgic already?
No. There's nothing nostalgic about it. All 3 of them, including Kwankwaso, in 2019 were all PDP men.
So talk to me about that, because most recently, all the key figures involved have said very contradicting things in relation to a possible.
I think the only person that said the right the only person that said the right thing is Peter.
Okay.
I think the only person that said the right thing.
Yeah.
And what Peter said that is the right thing is simple. He said, I am not interested in any gang up for power grab sake.
Okay, so let me get to the question.
Yes.
You, among some very other interesting fellows, were seen in a meeting.
Yes.
I don't know if you want to talk further about that particular meeting, but the subtext that people are getting from that is you're discussing possible alliances ahead of 2025, 2027. The recent national conference, right?
That was a joke.
Atiku Abubakar talked about how there needs to be some sort of coalition to wrestle power from APC, and then Peter Obi doubled down to say, listen, coalition just to wrestle power is not buying it, right? Talk to me about the nuances of this conversation around alliances, coalition, mergers, and what it actually says about 2027.
You see, I didn't get the notice of that fancy talk shop that they had at the call conference. But when I tried to,
You're not a fan of talk shops?
Listen, I am. But I said that fancy talk shop they call the conference. When I tried to think through what they are trying to do, I tried kind of say to myself that, guys, if you want to leave your existing party, can you leave? Peter, former PDP, former Abga, former Labour. Atiku, former Labour.
Former Labour?
No, sorry.
Current
Atiku.
Labour. Right.
What,
you mean Peter Obi, right?
I mean he's been presidential candidate in the last time. Atiku, former PDP, former ACN, former APC. Nasiru, former CPC, former PDP, former APC. Are those the ones that will tell us that because they may be losing out in their party, suddenly the whole country has to be on Armageddon? Of course not. They're politicians. There were times that they were appointed and others lost out, and the world did not fall. I'm even beginning to suspect that they will do themselves a lot of good. Any one of them that wants to be president, that wants to contest the election, will do himself a lot of good to bloody face how to become president. If you cannot get ticket in one party, go and take it another way now. Call that decampation. Because for you to say you are doing a merger, and I've been screaming this from the beginning. I hate when the media asks me this. I really wanted to talk about the alternative, but let me just shoot for you. When you want to do a merger and you want to do a copycat merger, the type that the APC did, the first question you're going to ask is that, yes, those who own CPC, if you like Buhari, they could easily return the certificate for a deregistration. Those who owned ACN, if you like them, Baba Akonde and Bola Tinubu, they could return the certificate for a deregistration. These people that are screaming and not letting anybody rest, who is going to deregister PDP for them? Who is going to deregister Labour for them? Who is going to deregister APC for them? So it means that whether they like it or not, those three parties may still be in existence. Okay, what kind of collaboration are you going to get? All of you want to be president at the same time. Most of you are really recycled. You're not exactly new people who have not been tried or tested. Your rap sheet and all the skeletons you have is all over the place. People can always dig them out. You need to, first of all, be talking to the people about a re-engagement with the Nigerian citizens. One, gentlemen of the Nigerian nation, why are you selling the votes? Can we have a dialogue about it? Gentlemen of the Nigerian nation, why are you not turning out? Have you given up? What can we do to make you not give up? Gentlemen and ladies of the Nigerian nation, if you don't like the people that are being pushed forward, if you are not happy, why are you not pushing yourself forward or bringing people? You must know your citizens. You all operate in villages, in wards, in local government. You can look for good people there and just be throwing them up. Don't worry about money and all that. Throw them up, let us profile them and run with them for you. Gentlemen of the Nigerian nation, what political ideology do you even like? If your issue with the ruling party is they remove subsidy, cut out the crap. All of them said they will remove it. And you really didn't have enough money to continue that subsidy regime anyway. Where would you even get the money? Okay, if your problem is that food inflation is high, yes, who's responsible for people going to kill themselves and doing Boko Haram and insurgency every day and preventing people from going to the farm? Okay, if your issue is that the currency, yes, I'm on the same board with you because there's no basis. It is criminally wicked for any nation to agree to a process that will be constantly devaluing its currency. And my reason may not be the reason why they are even screaming. My simple reason is that it is when you devalue the currency of a nation, you hit at their savings. Whatever it is that they had worked and saved as individuals, your simple stroke of the pen devaluation robs them of that saving, and no nation should subject its people to that. So for me, I think that the way I'm going about it, which is trying to explain to them that let's have the dialogue first. Let's go back to our people. Let's survey them. Let's try to talk to them. Let's come down from our high office. We don't have to be the candidates for the reformation we are talking about. If you were real leaders, you can't be talking about wanting to bring a new political order. And those of you that have been coming from 1992 are the face of the political order. You must be saying, okay, find us new people, find us fresh hands, find us better, so that the Nigerian people can even begin to see a different type.
Okay.
And you can't bully a sitting president when you are not better politicians than anybody. Okay. You would do, there's this ayah in the Quran they are scheming, we're scheming, but Allah is the best of schemers, right? Right. They are planning, we're planning, but oh my child, that's the one that everybody will be planning and scheming now. Okay. But I think that, with due respect to them, they started the conversation on a very faulty note. Okay. And they will just end up having about maybe 6 or 7 people trying to be president at the same time. And we'll be telling them if they do that, they will obviously lose. Okay.
Let's have a quick listen to some of the biggest takeaways from the fancy talk shop that was the National Conference on Strengthening Nigeria's Democracy. The thoughts of former Vice President Atiku Abubakar and former...
Did you speak there?
Former Governor of Kaduna State, Malam Nasir El-Rufai. Have a listen.
I was in the forefront together with the late Shehu Yaradua. Basically, main objective was, look, we got to send the military out of governance. Of course, we were played around by the military several times. We formed political parties. They will dissolve them, and then eventually we ended up with 2 political parties set up by the military themselves, the SDP and NRC.
The PDP, which is one of the largest and perhaps the oldest political party in this republic, is clearly targeted for destruction. It's a matter of time. There are internal mercenaries in the PDP that have been hired, paid, or otherwise motivated to destroy the party. So the party is on its way to the grave. Okay? And it's most unfortunate because His Excellency, the former Vice President, was explaining how politicians came together, essentially, put aside their differences to drive away the military. Most of these politicians ended up in the PDP. So the PDP actually represented the best of our politicians that fought for restoration of democracy. Forget those that make the most noise.
Whatever happens with democracy affects the citizens. It affects their daily living, it affects the future of their children. So we must all man get involved to make it work, because you know it is not working in Nigeria today. What's your comment? Whether we're going to do coalition or not, let's talk about the future of the country. Because often we abandon the country and what we need to do, talking about power grab. I'm not interested in any coalition that is for purpose of taking power. It is about discussing Nigeria. How do we care about securing Nigeria? How do we care about the common person in Nigeria? How do we care about our children being in school? That is the most important thing.
Some takeaways there from the national conference, which was a
two-day
two-day event. You heard the thoughts of the former Vice President Atiku Abubakar. Some very interesting takes there from the former governor of Kaduna State, and of course Labour Party's Peter Obi, talking about his lack of interest in a coalition that is designed only to grab power from the ruling APC. Your 2 cents, first and foremost, with regards to the thoughts of Malam Nasir Rufai. Internal mercenaries, he said, have been contracted to kill the PDP. In fact, he said, quote, the PDP is on its way to the grave. As a member of the PDP, how does that make you feel?
Well, you know, I love Nasiru, but if you ask him, what led him out of PDP that first made him minister of FCT?
You're discussing the messenger, not the message.
No, you're missing the point. If he could do that, had he stayed back in PDP, would there be mercenaries that would do this? The point I'm making is that he has made a point based on some assumptions. There's a lot of whispers and stuff around that area. The Achilles heels of that conversation really is because of Governor Wilson, former Governor Wike. And unfortunately, I've looked at it very well, head, top, down. What do you even want to do? Are you going to kill him? You can't prevent him from associating with people he associates with. You can't prevent him from meeting the ones that he meets. You can't insist that one man is the problem before election, after election, almost 2 years is the problem. I don't believe this. If there's a problem in the PDP must first of all reform itself. And that had been due since. Because if they were trying to reform themselves, they would have been seeing that, okay, why is it that we're so litigious? What can we do to be less? What is our conflict resolution mechanism? And all of those things that will make people still enjoy democracy. How do we even put investment in the media in such a way that we can even push our agenda without only masking and expanding our crisis? That would have been a good thing. I heard what you said. I feel that they underrate that party. Chief Olusegun Obasanjo, the former president, tore his card, his PDP dead. President Goodluck Jonathan, that was the last president, is barely not attended their function. Is the party dead?
It is dying. That's what most people
I'm just
say.
saying, they've been saying PDP. Look, don't force me into a situation where you get the impression I'm not seeing the need for PDP to change some things. That's not my point. My point is that I haven't seen PDP die since the days they've been saying it's dying. And it's won for 16 years.
Is there a chance that you are in denial of what is obvious?
You know,
you have less states than you've ever had in this country, less lawmakers than you've ever had in the history of the PDP.
That less lawmaker, less state was actually occasioned by the 2015 the governor, the Saraki and who left. Look, the data is there. If you look at what we had in 2011, and you look at the dip we suffered in 2015, we have not been able to recover. And it won't be these present players that caused that. So the point I'm making truly is that a political party is almost like a marketplace. It's a microcosm of the country. I prefer that they will all be better and everybody will be sensible and people will just give and let's leave and people will let go when it is not favoring them and people will endure and suffer because people suffer when it favored you. But they are not like that. I can't make them into what they are not. So what I have accepted is that they will fumble, wumble, but they will do a clean primaries, I can guarantee you. They will fumble, wumble. somebody is going to emerge as their candidate, and they'll push it the best they can. You never know who they're going to produce. What if they produce Peter? I guarantee you PDP produces Peter Obi tomorrow. Just leave them with their quarrel in the NWC. If they just said, okay, we have made up our mind, we're giving Peter Obi our ticket, the whole of the internet is going to go
Is that your fantasy pick?
No, it's not my fantasy pick. I'm just giving you scenarios that you never say a political party is dead. What happens tomorrow if Wike says I'm back? It's 24 hours, a very long time in politics.
Yeah, but hypothetically speaking, all of these things could happen and your analysis could be correct, but we're not talking hypothetically, we're talking about realistically what is actually happening right now.
I've given you signposts of some realistic things. They needed to do off-season election. They did some. They participated, they produced candidates in all.
Lost all?
No, they won Bayelsa.
Who was in charge of Bayelsa?
Yeah, sit down there and be asking me, did they got the second term? Bayelsa, Edo, and Kogi was on the same day. Can you see what I'm showing you? They went to Edo by the one that believes in everything good. Can you truly tell me you are happy that a state, a party gave them Aswe Godalo, pristine pristine intellect, pristine capacity, pristine experience, and they didn't vote for him? That is their right.
Yeah. So
that does not make PDP has done anything bad. We could give you Obama tomorrow. If you people insist that you prefer to suffer, that will not be the fault of the party.
You're blaming Nigerians for the declining political value or currency of the PDP.
Young man.
Is that what you're doing? You're blaming Nigerians?
Young man, you need to listen well. I'm saying that the right to pick the candidate belongs to the Nigerians. It's their right. No matter how tiny the party is, even if they're like, okay, what have you ever heard of YDP? They are not quarreling. Are they going to win the next presidential election?
Isn't it possible that you're just bad at selling candidates?
No, I don't think we're bad at selling candidates. I think the thing is that, with due respect, you have said a very good thing. I think that what has happened is that something moved in 2014, 2015 in the country that the PDP have been telling them, but they're not listening. And that is that before 2015, those who design campaign design it on an assumption of numbers, the number of votes they're targeting, and the monies, how much they think communication, the who works. By 2013 or thereabout, the arrivals introduced the science of campaign into it. And because of that science of campaign, they are better able to do research. I can tell you for free because I know I'm interested in this thing. They are better at real-time polling, and they're able to put their communication spend in a class. Why do you think the president, when they were doing the 2023 election, said town hall is different from because he knew from science that jamboree in stadium, screaming power, power will not move anything. He knew that stakeholder engagement, focus group engagement, the critical player engagement, he knew that was what was getting him. He knew that endorsements, he knew that would trick you. Look. Anybody can lose and anybody can win. If the next election, what a political party and what I think PDP should be doing is, PDP must realistically look for its own pathway to victory. And it must not allow itself to be bullied by a national assumption that wherever APC goes is where PDP wants to go. No, we're not under obligation to do that. That's not the thinking of political party. No political party should zone itself out of relevance. The important thing for political party, I'm giving this to everybody for free. A political party must look at where can be our easiest pathway. And then for PDP, our numbers usually come from the southeast, comes from the south-south. Those two zones, we didn't win it the last time, but who won it? The Indigbos have been carrying this party. I've been screaming this since 2020. That look, the Igbos have been carrying us. We have to accept that fact. The data suggests this, the energy level suggests. Now, we are at a point now where if we don't do something to show them that we understand where our gifts that lay the golden egg of our votes come from, they may leave us. They left us in 2023, and we couldn't do as well. So now, we're at the point where it's not yet 2 years. We have enough time to look and say to us, okay, really, aside even wanting to, that's why I said Peter is the one that was smart there. Aside even wanting to be presidential candidate, are you not going to even be talking about the issues you want to affect in the country? He was the only one that was talking about that.
But you also have a problem with his messaging. You say his negative tone
is a bit much. You know, the reason is that, imagine that you're not a journalist and you're not that educated and all you hear is, the country is bad. That alone can make you run back. It's not the same thing.
Is that all he's doing?
Don't put words into my mouth. If you put a rhetoric that sees no good in the nation, why do you think they beat us with change? They didn't come and give us change only on negative propaganda. They gave us change on hopeful promise. Why do you think they came up with, what was the next thing, the new hope, what they call it? Why do you think they are doing, why do you think our rivals are always bringing hope? Why would we be why would we be projecting misery? It never sells. It will sell to some extent. People will be angry and all that, but it won't give you boots on ground.
What kind of opposition is, in your view, acceptable? I mean, some would say what Peter Obi or Atiku Abubakar is doing in their commentary of the state of the nation is an honest critique of what is going wrong, and they also prefer solutions.
With due respect, don't box them together. Atiku is a very experienced person. He doesn't do what Peter is doing.
I mean, they're the two leading political figures.
No, just listen. Yeah. Atiku doesn't harvest hope. He doesn't harvest misery. I know him. I'm his spokesperson. I'm still very much with him. He doesn't speak without offering alternative. To be fair to him, he always will go and read everything he says. He will probably say, I don't agree with it. He doesn't want to be giving them everything, because after all, he was the first person to even bring out the policy document. That's not Atiku's issue. Atiku's issues with the Nigerian electorate is elsewhere. The Peter Obi issues that, you kind of like feel for him. They all go to a meeting to talk about zoning or merger. This one is saying PDP is dying. That's what Nasser is saying. Our man is saying in 1999 we're the one that started in 1992. That's what he's saying. The soundbite from Peter is, we need to group what's going for our children. We need to group what's education. That's how to get people to connect to a message. That's what I'm saying. And I'm saying to him, giving him free advice, don't come across, because of our tribal and ethnic issues, as only harvesting misery. You can't say, okay, this I agree, this I don't. I don't agree with this because of this. You can't be every day.
I'm sure there are a lot of obedience screaming at their TV screens right now, saying that maybe you're not hearing all that he's saying because he always prefers solutions as to what needs to be done differently to fix the problem.
You know what? I pray that all of them go to the poll by themselves. I'm even tired of nudging them in the right direction. You guys, all of you go to the poll by yourself and win, let's see. Are you listening to yourself? I'm telling you that he's coming up with, you can see all the things he's been doing since he lost that election. All of them, what have they done? Peter has gone to schools. Peter has gone to market. Peter has gone to motherless babies home. Peter has gone everywhere. You have to feel for the energy. And if there's something you want to add to him, you say, okay, Peter, you have to be more hopeful. You have to bring them more hope. Is that a bad thing? If the opinions are angry for themselves, what's that got to do with me? Listen, opposition in a sub-Saharan country like ours must always understand that the business of running our country is ours. And to that extent, we cannot normalize demarketing our country on a global scale.
All right. Some would say that's just been calling a spade. But your final thoughts?
I know, it's like you to say that, You forget that you guys are all muted when the last man was there for 8 years.
Otumba, where are you thinking about moving anywhere? Or are you a lifelong PDP man?
My heart bleeds when you ask me this question. I'm running around the country. I've gone to the northeast, the northwest, the north central, the south. I'll be in Enugu in a few days. Just to tell the Nigerians, let us engage ourselves again. Let us try to think and reason together. These people are old. We have to start planning for the next morning.
These people?
Bola Tinubu is not a young man. They are old.
Okay.
Stop butting into every word. They're old. So even if they succeed, they don't succeed, is irrelevant. We must plan succession. And in planning succession, we must be realistic about what can we expect from a political party.
Okay.
We could start a new one, but even if we get successful, we're going to run into these battles of I'm the chairman, I'm the secretary, I'm the this, I'm the that. Why will anybody in opposition be fighting for ESCO or party when they are not even in government?
Okay, so you're not going anywhere?
I'm not sure. I've not made that promise.
Okay.
I've decided to put my gear in neutral.
So maybe?
Neutral. I shouldn't. I've been in this party since 1998. Why should I be screaming reform, 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 reform?
Okay.
And they won't reform. Why should I? And I'm not going to lock my. Anyway.
Yeah.
Let me just put it this way. I'm going to be in government in the next dispensation.
Great.
That means that any party that is winning, I'm going to go contribute my energy to get them in. I'm not interested in this anymore.
I wish you can, give me that crystal ball of yours, because I would love to see what the next couple of years is going to look like.
Hope to have you back. Yeah,
hope to have you back very soon. Interesting conversation as always. Otumba, as always, thank you so much for joining us on the Daily
Thank you for having me. But next time you invite to stop harassing PDP. I want you to harass APC. Ask them why you not having ESCO, why you not having AWC.
Maybe I should save you a couple of episodes we did with
No, but they never do anything. What did they do in that party apart from just sit down there and listen to one man back orders?
Okay, we're gonna have to wrap things up. That's our show for you tonight. Hope you did enjoy the conversation. Feel free to make a date with us. We'll be back tomorrow live at 8 p.m. exclusive as always on Trust TV. Until next time, my name is Abdullahi Ahmed. Good evening.